So yeah, I think they did a great job of it.
What was an example for one?
Buddy, you put me on the spot there. I have no answer for you right now.
I mean, you just finished it yesterday.
Yeah, I watched like 6 episodes in like 2 days. Kind of blended together, man.
Yeah, fucking right.
海賊王になる男だ。
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. G, here with episode 81? Yes, 81
Yes, sir.
of the Strawhat Sitdown.
Not like this.
I know,
kid.
bro. It's the nervousness, bro. Trying to I almost messed up last week too. I had like a hesitation.
Not like this. Yeah.
Yo, but thank you all for being here. Please, if you haven't, drop a sub. Help us get to 200 followers. We are so close. We are at 173 right now.
Yes,
So
sir.
help us get there, and we'll keep making more content for y'all. Here with the gang, with the exception of D3, he's missing out because he did not want to watch the live action, and we respect that. It is what it is. So we got Captain Cali Mac back. What's good, brother?
Hi guys. It's nice to be back. My PC is still a little shot, so no camera, and I can't host it. So my co-cap, Mr. G, gonna hold it down for us today, though. Feel me? It's very much appreciated, brother.
Got you, bro. That's what we do, right? Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Next up, we got that Strawhat Mod. What's good, brother?
What's good, y'all? I'm ready to talk about some live action. This is gonna be a fun episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy,
Hell yeah. Well, as I said, D3 is not here. So, last but not least, what is good? YHuss?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I literally finished the live action at 2:42 a.m. last night. So, I'm fresh off it, so I'm super excited to talk about it.
That's funny. I finished my fourth watch last night also.
I definitely just finished the last episode like an hour ago. Yeah, I did do it though.
So as you guys can see from the stream, and also those of you that are on Podbean, audio listeners, check out the stream on YouTube, and on Twitch. You get to see all the visuals. We are talking about the One Piece Netflix One Piece live action today, yo. Full season 1 review. I know we did a brief one in one of our episodes previous of episode 1, but now the crew has seen it, as they said, last night and this morning. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it, and let's get into it, yo. Oh, a quick shout out, yo. Quick shout out to my team, bro. We finally won our first fucking game of the season, maybe. Yo, we won 3-2. It was so hype, yo. Well earned, man. Let's go Knights. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely big W, bro. Oh god.
That's lit.
A whole like last season, like we lost like most of our games and ties, and finally like early in the season we got a dub, and thank goodness. But
look it up, man. The Strawhat Sitdown only takes dubs.
Only takes dubs, baby. So speaking of dubs, Oda does not miss.
Never.
Bro, live action. 3 mediums, baby. Manga, anime, live action. People doubted, but my guy did it, baby. My guy did it. What do you guys think?
I agree. Like I think it's just proof at this point that One Piece is just goated as one of, if not the greatest, just piece of medium for fiction of all time. Like it so much traction, and I see so much. So, I swear it feels like ever since like 2019 on forward, I just been seeing One Piece stuff everywhere.
Yep.
And now I'm seeing it even trickled into things that normally don't talk about anime and stuff like that, and it helps. And this live action has definitely helped progress with that, because now I got people that don't normally watch One Piece and stuff said that they checked out the live action, and it's made them kind of interested. So I think it's doing its job pretty well.
It is.
I'm very happy.
Big catalyst, bro. Huge catalyst.
I also think it took, like you said, like the timing is so good, because like you said, it's been blowing up, and Oda, like chose a great time when it's so popular. You know, the Gear 5 hype in the anime was just around the same time. Like, it was actually like amazingly timed. The final saga was, you know, well in full swing. So I gotta give him shouts for the timing. It was so clearly it was well timed because, you know, the reception was perfect. Yeah, I am definitely I was not as like
hopeful.
prepared as Mista. Mista was ready to fuck with it the second it came out, and he was proven right. I gotta give him that. He was proven right. But for me, I was a bit more skeptical. But I always maintain if Oda has a hand in it, that's the only reason I even watched it. If Oda had nothing to do with it, I would never have watched it.
Facts, bro.
So yeah, and clearly his touch showed because I had a good time. I enjoyed it very much.
Word. So Callie might crash real quick. He'll come back. How do you guys want to start this? I know because we have a whole season 1 review type of way, right? You know, discussion type of talk.
Yo,
He's back. Callie's back. All right. So Callie, real quick, what did you think of season
Overall,
1? Yeah, overall of the live action.
I definitely feel as if they did a good job. Definitely have mostly positive things to say about it. My number one biggest thing that I appreciate from the series, as I was watching it the entire time, was I don't know how they did it, but they managed to portray the emotional impact of the story the same way that the original mediums did. And I feel like with something like One Piece, where those emotional peaks are really fucking high, for you to be able to even reach a semblance of that is something to be celebrated for sure.
No, definitely.
I definitely appreciated that. There were moments where I would really be sitting there cheesing, geeking at the fucking street TV like I'm reading the manga. Like,
bro, same, bro.
Getting teary-eyed over the big moments. Like, I think that's hard to do, especially with a story like One Piece. That's hard to do. So I definitely appreciate that they were able to portray the emotional parts like that.
Hell yeah. No, I agree. They did a very good job, man. The cast, everything. Like,
yeah, the cast is my second biggest. Like, the fucking cast was fucking amazing. Yeah,
bro, so cool.
Great.
Like, I was rewatching it with my boy because he just finished watching it for the first time, and he's like, bro, I love Usopp. He's like, Usopp was perfect. Jacob, like, he did a great job. Like, he he was like, I wasn't sure how they were gonna do it, but like he just is Usopp, and like, bro, like and also to me the fishmen, the practical effects, the there wasn't all, like, they weren't CGI. The fishmen looked great.
They
you
did.
know,
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's fresh in my mind because I just watched the last 2 episodes before we started, but when Luffy knocked some of Arlong's teeth out and they had the effects of them regrowing and shit.
Hell yeah.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Another Fishman moment was the karate guy. I think his name is Kurobi or Kudobi or something like that.
Yeah.
When he like dives underwater.
That was so cool.
Zoro. Yeah, like he does like a twirl. He swims and he breaks through some rocks. That scene was so perfectly shot, and also I feel like because they obviously sped it up, but it didn't feel that way. It felt like he was. I don't know how they told him to move because when it was sped up, it didn't look unnatural, and that was crazy to me.
Oh, dude, it was so cool because like dove in perfectly. You know, I used to be a swimmer, so like everything with a dolphin kick, it was just so natural because that's how a fisherman would swim, right? Like, and he was like that fight between Sanji and Zoro, like, man. All right, so this will be a season 1 review overall. How do you guys want to start it? Should we start from the beginning, or should we start from are we just going to parts and just talking about it?
Yeah. Why don't we just freeform it? Because we could. I mean, I think there's general things that we could talk about.
I think we break it down by the different aspects of the show rather than go through a chronological order thing.
I agree.
Okay.
So y'all want to start with the cast, maybe?
Yeah. I was gonna say let's get back to the cast because I wanted to say about.
I talk about that. That was so good, man. I was so pleasantly surprised by the way everybody just did their thing. Who did you guys? Which performance did you guys like the most?
Ooh, honestly, I wish there was more Sanji, bro. I really enjoyed
Me
Sanji a
too.
lot, dude.
Me too.
He was smooth as fuck, and like I thought he was so cool, and I really, like I said, I really fucking loved Usopp too.
I actually think that when Usopp joined the crew, like the second they got to his village, I actually feel like what's what I'm looking for, the synergy and chemistry like went through the roof for all of them. Like he like
Yes.
elevated everyone.
Yes.
Like with his interactions between them. My favorite, it still might be the funniest moment in the show is when him, Luffy, and Zoro are in the bar kitchen or whatever of her house, and he's like, "You think Kaya likes me?" And Zoro just stares at him. And then he's like, "You're asking the wrong guy." I
Yeah.
cried,
Bro.
bro.
And McKenyu was perfect too as Zoro. He was
Yes,
so fucking
yes.
cool, like, bro.
He was
Oh
dope.
man. And then, but I will say, as hopeful I was of the live action when we watched the teaser and the trailer, I wasn't sure about Nami, right? Because they gave her like that terrible line in the trailer about the oceans, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. But yo, she honestly surprised me, bro. Like she was awesome, like through and through. Like I liked how much action Nami did from the beginning, and like she was holding her own, and like she hit the scene, bro. She hit
Yeah, me
that scene.
personally, that's my favorite. That was my favorite actor of all the Straw Hats. She, especially after she hit that exact moment, she
Oh, God.
hit that shit out the fucking park. I'm not gonna lie, absolutely floored me,
bro. Like I when I first saw it, I was brought to tears. I was like, damn, like.
She definitely did her thing. I will say, if I'm being 100% honest though, my least favorite was probably Luffy, man.
I completely agree.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what really threw me off? I don't even think that, what's his name? Inaki?
Iñaki.
Yeah.
Iñaki?
Yeah.
I don't think that I think he's actually a really talented actor. I think, and my problem might be personal, I think it was the lisp and the slight accent behind the way that he talked. I think that threw me out of character a lot more times than not.
That's fair. I mean, I
It was
like the
just,
accent, but
it was no, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think it's just so different than Luffy's character. I think that even through the differences of the other characters in the live action compared to the manga anime, they still had enough similarities to where I can still see them as the characters in the show. I feel like Luffy or Inuyaki as Luffy was the only character where I felt a slight disconnect, even though he played the character really fucking well. There were definitely moments where I felt the peaks and he felt like Luffy, but there was definitely a lot of times where I felt the disconnect between the actor and the character where I didn't feel that way with the rest of the cast. And I think 90% of it is really just the voice and the lisp and the way that he talked would just throw me out of it a little bit. But I definitely don't think he was bad. Just probably my least favorite out of all the Straw Hats.
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it'd be like that. I do think to me, he was okay at first, right? But I think he got progressively better, like throughout as the story went on, and I don't know. I think he'll just get better as the series goes on.
Yeah, I wanted to say, Maud, who was your like favorite, and like what were your thoughts on the cast and the Strats?
So yeah, I think I think Luffy was my favorite. And I think that because like I understand the criticism behind it. Like I completely get it how his voice could take you out of um the idea that he's Luffy or like that Luffy is like this or whatever. But to me personally, it fits because I always remembered that interview that Oda had where someone asked him, "Hey, if the Straw Hats were real, where would they be? What nationality would they be from?" And Oda did say that Luffy would be from Brazil.
I mean, you can be Brazilian without having a lisp, though. I think that's two different things.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, I imagine that if Luffy was real, he probably would have an accent. I think that's just a cadence to I think the whole. I honestly, I think that that criticism comes from a place of we expect cadence to an English speaking audience completely. When at the end of the day, technically every character is like from a different section of the world. Just like in One Piece itself, everyone's nationality is, different. And obviously the two worlds, they're not going to be the same. Like I think Otis said, like Robin would be from Russia or something like that. So if he brings in Robin in the future, will he bring in a Russian voice actor? You know what I mean? And will she have also a Russian accent? So and that could potentially take you out of that being Robin just because of that accent and stuff. But to me, this is what the point is that different people from around different parts of the world come together because they all have a dream and they all want to express it and live it, even no matter what their difference is. Luffy's crew, even in the manga and anime, has always been about, oh, I don't care how different you are, just like with Chopper talking about, oh, I'm a monster, why would I do it? Luffy's like, who cares, get on my boat, like whatever. Like that is like the spirit of One Piece. So to me, I think it makes absolute sense that like Luffy has an accent. You know what I mean? Because he's supposed to embody the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what I would give Callie like what I understand, because I think the real complaint is that it shines through in some moments and doesn't in others. Like he'll give a line that you won't even realize the lisp, and I think the real problem is the lisp. It's not the accent, because like Sanji has an accent.
I have no problem with anybody else's accent but Luffy's. Yeah, I feel like the point was misconstrued a little bit. I have no problem with anybody's but Luffy's. It's literally his just it does not fit.
But I also think you should do a good job of like, I think you gotta do a better job of like contrasting the lisp and the accent. I think like it's a compounding problem that you have. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. I was thinking about it because I feel like it's probably the lisp more so than the accent, but the way you said it made me realize.
That's what I understood. But
it's the way that they work around each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's because I understood that, and I think it came off as more accent for these guys, which I don't.
Okay, I did say accent though, so you're right. Yeah,
getting me offended,
bro. I think,
damn, bro. If I had a Spanish accent, I have to talk. I have to.
Watch out. You're right. No, I misspoke. You're right. I didn't mean it like that.
No, but I actually think it kind of shines through more in some moments where like it doesn't sound like he has one, and then sometimes you realize he does. But like I get that, and I actually think Arlong is another example of that, who changed the way he talked on some lines. Like he would do the really deep voice and talking more proper, and then sometimes he would
pulling the car out Anthony Towns, baby.
yo, facts, yeah, deep in his voice. But sometimes he would sound like a brother out of like I just met on the street. He's like, yo. He called like
it wasn't even a brother. It was like a mixture of a brother and Perfect Cell, bro. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, bro, yes.
And I think the way he flipped between them sometimes was a bit jarring. So I understand that about Luffy. But my real issue with Luffy is the writing, 1000%. I just think, but I realized. Here's the thing. Also, because I said it in the first episode, and then when I finished it, I realized a lot of things were changed very purposefully. Like I think my problem with Luffy's writing is that it feels like he's doing the thing where he like just, I think everyone does it also, like a lot of people do it, like they talk a lot about like their thoughts and ideals. Like niggas wax poetic in this shit way more than in regular One Piece. Like they talk about the morals behind their thoughts, stuff like that. And Luffy is like, oh, be a good marine, and in his first episode he's telling Luffy, Kobe, what the difference is, blah blah blah. Or it's like, yo, I want to be here for my friends and stuff like that. Or like, oh, I'm never gonna give between Zoro and his dream. He was being pretty repetitive in saying that. And I think Luffy is way more nonchalant, period. But I also think they wanted to make Luffy more relatable. And which is like in the beginning he doesn't show any sort of signs of like being like someone who takes others into consideration, like until it really matters, of course, like Vivi and stuff like that, and Nami's past, stuff like that. But when it comes to like your regular stuff, like I brought up the example when I was talking in episode 1 when me and Mister when we reread Orange Town with the dog and Buggy, and he tells Nami, sure, I'm sure you have your reasons for hating pirates. I'm not gonna lie, I don't give a fuck though. Don't tell me, but I believe you. I understand. But Luffy would not say that in this. I'm sure in this live action, he'd be like, "Yo, tell me about it. How can I help you?" Stuff like that. So it's a bit different, but I think they're trying to go for something different. And I think because I was surprised by the end, because I didn't like the way Garp was until the very end, because when he said he was testing him or whatever. So I think they wanted to make Luffy a bit more relatable, show some more growth and stuff like that. So that's my real, like, to me, I don't think they did. I don't think it felt like Luffy 100%. But I think they were going for something, so I'm not gonna like fault them too much for it. And hopefully it landed with people that didn't watch One Piece. Who knows?
Yeah.
I am gonna fault them for it.
Yo, real,
They
mad
should
real.
have done better. They should have done better.
I agree with you, bro. Because Luffy was also my least favorite Straw Hat.
Okay, I mean, hey.
But I still laughed at like a lot of moments, stuff like that, and also the Arlong Park moment, like when he's like, "Of course I'm gonna help you," and then he turned around, like, and the crew is just sitting there. That shit was fucking raw. That shit was as sick as it was gonna be in the manga. That was fire.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that scene? I actually feel different. Like, I don't know, everybody else liked that scene, and I think, and I understood what they were going for, and I liked
Do have
it
criticisms,
too. But I felt a little disconnected when Luffy was yelling in the air, like, "Of course I will."
Totally agree with you, brother.
Because
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I was about to cut you off.
you're all good. It's all good. I don't know about you, Callie, but I felt like they should not have done that. I felt like it would have been just better if he put the hat on Nami, right, and just turn around and just, like, I don't know, not just cut the music, cut any like tension, and just like look at Luffy and he's like, of course, like, just of course I will, just like,
yeah. I have a lot of contrivances with that scene that we could talk about when we talk about the overall story, but I do 100% agree that Luffy brought the scene down for me, because before that, like I said, I do have some issues with the way that the scene was presented, but when Nami actually gets into the scene, I felt the tears. Like, she nailed that shit to the fucking T.
Yeah.
And then Luffy comes out and just swings his arms like Wacky Inflatable Tube Man outside the car wash, and goes from a whisper to a pained yell. Like, it definitely took me out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, it's different because here's the thing: when they did the scene, when you do that scene and they did it in the anime or whatever, it makes, because like the music was also there to pump up the event and everything like that, and it that makes that scene way more impactful in the anime. But when you do it in live action and you cut the silence and you cut it to everything, but you see him just straight up yelling, it just feels, because it don't, because no, who does that in real life? You know what I mean? Like, if something tragic is happening to a friend or peer or something like that, and they're yelling into the skies like that, it just feels a little.
Okay, wait. I think I'm a little confused on what you're saying. So you're saying you don't like the fact that he yelled at all?
That's what he's saying.
No, I'm fine with. I could have been fine with it if they didn't cut the if they didn't make it that intense. Because what I'm saying is,
Really?
yeah, because they could have, because my problem is like the settings behind the yell. You know what I mean? So, uh, it's because they cut the music, they like cut any kind of um what's the word I'm looking for, flow into that scene. And when Luffy was, consulting Nami and stuff like that, and she hit her scene properly. She hit that A1. But Luffy's response to that and everything around that kind of made that scene feel dull to me, because I felt like if Luffy's like you said earlier, like talking in a low tone to consult her and everything like that, and then I felt like it should have just continued like that based off of how they were uh editing the scene themselves. But
Okay,
it goes to a drastically different tone because of how they edited it overall. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm partially in agreement with you, because I feel like, because I feel like, just correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying that because he yells in the source material, he screams at the top of his lungs, "Of course I help you," but you're saying that you don't think that would have translated well to live action.
Based off of how they edited it, no. Because at the end of the day, right, like how you shoot scenes and stuff like that is going to be different than the end product, right? Because they got to go back, re-edit it, decide to put music over it, decide to change camera shots, all those different things that can help bring out the scene to life. But I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, they did their lines fine, and I felt the inspiration behind Luffy doing that, and it's not the actors themselves, I should say.
Okay, I think we're in agreement then, because it's definitely more so the writing. I definitely think they should have either stuck with the whisper, like if he had just said, "Of course I'll help you," and then just turned to them, that would have been fine. Or if they had just stuck to the straight source material, and he just puts the hat on him, turns around,
and then yells.
And just really, lets out.
I agree on the last one.
Scream.
That would have been better.
If it stuck to one or the other, I think the scene would have translated a lot better than for him to go from this low whisper. So okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah, but once he does do that and he turns around and they're all there, I thought that shot was really well.
Yeah, and then he's like,
it was literally cut and paste from
it was perfect. It was perfect.
Story. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I definitely after watching it again yesterday, I was like, I do agree. If they just went with the tough, like strong whisper, like angry whisper, like he did at first, right? And then just walked away, and then like, let's go, and then like everyone, instead of or like you said, puts the hat on, turns around, then yells. They definitely should have done one or the other. Yeah, I agree.
I was going to ask how do y'all felt about the casting for the wait, hold on. Before I do, I just wanted to ask y'all, how do y'all feel about the contrast between like how the casting have to portray their characters here versus the anime, the stark difference, right? Because I don't know, I don't think I'm the only one that noticed this, but Zoro and Nami in particular are way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're way more Debbie Downer than their anime counterparts.
Definitely, definitely.
At the beginning. How do y'all feel about that?
When you say Debbie Downer,
I said what I mean by that is basically. So okay, I'll just give an example. So you know how when when Luffy saved Zoro, he immediately declared himself. Or not declare himself, but he said like, "Yeah, I'll be your vice captain, but you get in my way of my dreams, I'll kill you or whatever." Right? After that, see, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember when Zoro was asking, "So, where's our ship? And where's our crew?" And Luffy's like, "Oh, it's all right. This is it." And it's like, and where's our crew? It's just us. And Zoro was laughing, and he was like, "Did I basically sign myself up to the worst captain of all time or something?" Like, you know what I mean? So he was still getting weak, and he was still laughing at stuff and having a good time with Luffy and stuff. Here, Zoro is. They made it so that like Zoro is more stoic, but
broody.
He lightens up more as time goes on and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing with Nami too. Like
I think it was like I think it was a decision of like the tastes of different audience. I think they wanted like a more dry, sarcastic kind of vibe for Nami, and the whole crew honestly, like other than Luffy, has like a lot of dry sarcasm moments, which I think is like a taste difference. Like I don't really see that in too much earlier anime, like the 90s, 2000s shonen. Like
that's
too overly used.
That's definitely a testament to like Western.
Yeah, 1,000% like what you really see in TVs and movies these days. Yeah, so I think it's that kind of thing. It's a taste. It's like they did that. Like I clearly could tell they changed it on purpose to suit more Western taste. I thought it was pretty funny for like a lot of the moments. I think a few moments had me like rolling my eyes and like, "Oh, kill me" type shit.
I think there was moments of that than of. I think there were more moments where I genuinely enjoyed them that I felt like.
Agreed. I completely. I was gonna say those moments, those roll my eyes moments were very few and far between. So yeah, I think they did a great job of it.
What was an example for one?
Buddy, you put me on the spot there. I have no answer for you right now.
I mean, you just finished it yesterday.
Yeah, I watched like 6 episodes in like 2 days. Kind of blended together, man.
Yeah, I'm fucking crying.
But yeah, no more. But 99% is like that dry sarcasm had a purpose, I think, and it worked pretty well. I don't hate it, but I hate Luffy's changes. I'm not gonna lie. Gotta agree with you. But I don't mind Zoro and Nami's.
And I think they also made Sanji more upbeat a little bit to contrast that, because Sanji was. Sanji has always been, since he was introduced, like an in-between of like Usopp, Luffy, and Zoro. You know what I mean? He's always been like an in between. Like he's not as stoic as Zoro. He can be more upbeat, more whatever, but he's not as goofy as like Luffy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here they've kind of made him like more closer to Luffy and Usopp than to Zoro and Nami as like a stark contrast. But I saw someone else talk about how they may have done that just so that there's a little bit of a balance because of Nami and Zoro's stoicism and stuff like that is more hardcore in the live action than it is in the anime. So because of that, they made Sanji more upbeat. Even at the end, if you when they did the toast and on the crate, you know, there you see Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp are the only ones that are yelling in the air, like
They go, "Woo!"
yeah. Whereas like Nami and Zoro, they chuckle. so but I like it. I feel I mess with it, but I just thought like that is definitely different, and I understand the direction. But it was so cool to see Zoro warm up to Luffy, especially when he was captured by Buggy, and he was like, he's rubbing off. He was like, it was like, you really think he's gonna be the Pirate King? It's like, well, I mean, it's kind of rubbing off on me a little bit, and like
he believes in himself. He's good.
So I like that. I like it so much.
Yeah, I think Sanji's is a good change. Sanji's I really enjoyed his, like you said, it's more upbeatness. I think like usual Sanji is like a bit of a like he'll roast niggas, like he's a bit of a dickhead, I think. But this Sanji was especially with the crew, he was way more like charming in his jokes. It felt more good natured and more playful. And I think that was dope. Like even versus Zoro, I think like obviously Zoro Sanji, that rivalry is hilarious, but I think in the manga, in the anime, like obviously they have mad love for each other and they would die for each other. But I think these niggas really hate each other on the low, but I didn't get that feeling on in the live action. I think like it felt pretty cordial. I liked it. It was Sanji.
I would dispute that point in the manga, but maybe it's because I just finished the live action, but I just remember the specific scene from Wano while I was watching the last episode of the live action where Zoro and Sanji fighting against an army of fishmen and they're bantering with each other and shit.
Yes, I love that scene.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree that you definitely can sense the camaraderie in the live action. Maybe more so than the original story. I don't know if I'd agree with that necessarily, but I do remember one specific scene in Wano that stuck with me that made me realize that they do, share some sort of mutual respect for each other. And it was I think it's the only time they've ever actually spoke cordially to each other. It was when they were, I think, about to fight King and Queen.
And then
it was the end of the chapter, and then Zoro's like, "Hey, yo," he's like, "Hey, Cook, if we get this, you know what happens, right?" And then he's like, "Yo, we're one step closer, man."
Yep.
I think I can point to the Punk Hazard moment even more so when I think both of them say at least once in that arc, like, "Oh, Sanji's with them, they'll be fine," and Sanji says, "Oh, they have Zoro with them, that guy's a bastard, but they'll be fine," type shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like I said, I think like 1,000% they would like that. I'm not saying they're closer in live action or anything like that, but I think like their fighting feels way more like I would kill this nigga given the chance in the manga, like obviously playfully, but in the live action it's more playful, it's more fun.
Also, we didn't get a lot of time with them though. Remember?
Yeah, 1,000%. That's why I didn't want to compare too much, but I felt like in this I enjoyed it. It felt a bit more like Sanji especially felt more like, oh, I'm just fucking with you, I'm teasing you almost.
I do love that Zoro keeps calling him waiter. He's like, I don't know about that waiter guy, like and I did like when cause Sanji's like, we need to help Luffy, and then like Zoro's like, you just got here, the fuck you know what Luffy needs, bro? Like who is this guy? But yeah, even though they were like bantering, but they were still having each other's back like that. I thought the choreography was really good. Especially during that like big scene at the end, I thought it was pretty cool.
The fishman fight?
Yeah. The fishman fight.
Yeah, choreography all throughout was amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
And
I think that's
CGI
like the impressive
too.
thing. I think that's the impressive thing about live action, like because obviously it always feels like that like it doesn't look good in others, and this one when we talked about like how goofy One Piece is and the powers are so out there, and so they did an amazing job. Like Luffy's punches like versus Arlong, for example, like they felt snappy and they felt like it didn't feel out of place, when I was looking at it. So they did an amazing job.
One thing I like about that was that at first, right, when they first fought each other, his punches weren't affecting him because he like didn't know how hard he had to punch him, right? Like, and I like that, like as he fought again, like he learned to adapt to that shit and make
like. I think Luffy had some of the weakest choreography.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Again, I definitely don't disagree. Lowers my opinion of.
Yeah, I mean,
live action.
That's fair.
And I understand that it's I think that his was more so a budgeting problem because they couldn't have this nigga doing CGI punches every scene.
Yeah.
So they had to use the shit sparingly. So it definitely didn't feel as much of a Luffy fight, which it's just again an understandable gripe, because you can't have be spending 50 million every scene to have this thing go all out, stretching every fight. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It sucks, but it does suck though.
Yeah, but there's a big question then, because I know we're talking about choreography now, but like you could kind of get away with it right here, but as as time goes on, it's going to be more. It should theoretically get more intense, because how you going to incorporate his moves plus gear second, gear third, and then heaven forbid if we get all the way up to Wano with Kaido versus Luffy, that shit is going to be so CGI.
Good luck, good fucking luck.
I think the thing with the Luffy choreography specifically, because it's so CGI oriented, is that just like they did in this season, they're going to continue to do a primary focus on like close range with the occasional gum move thrown in there.
Yeah.
But like you said, the problem is the fights get more over the top, so it's going. Excuse me, they're going. It's if they try to stick as close to the source material as possible, it's definitely going to look a lot more contrived. They're going to have to. Well, they're already changing. We already know they're going to change up the story, but they're definitely going to have to change up a lot of the plot to accommodate the Luffy fight scenes, especially if we get further into the future. Because as it is right now, I don't know how good it's going to look when we start moving up to these other fights.
And I also had and also that you could see it kind of seep through at the end, right? Like, did y'all notice in the choreography when they busted through Arlong Park, like how they did in the anime, how in the anime and manga, Luffy did fight fodder. He like they all like whooped the fodder like pretty convincingly, but here they had Luffy avoid the fodder so that he don't have to fight, so that they can just save it for Arlong, probably for budget reasons. So I kind of don't like that. I like to see Luffy beat up fodder because it's kind of like
Luffy wasn't fighting fodder in Arlong, was he?
No.
He didn't fight a single fight. In fact, I remember a scene where Luffy, the scene where Luffy was like, "Where's Arlong?" and Nami's like, "He's probably in the
treasure room, the map room."
Yeah.
Oh no! I meant in the source in the anime manga. In any manga, he didn't fight fodder in Arlong.
He did. Because what happened was he busted through, right? He was like, "Which one of you was Arlong?"
He punches Arlong. Yeah.
He was like, "That would be me," and then he punched him, right? And then after that, all the fodder like kind of dogpiled him, Zoro, and Sanji, and then they just kind of like mollywopped the fodder like convincingly. In fact, one of the scenes, Luffy planted himself into the ground and took a pillow and did gun spin top or whatever it was, and like you did to knock hella fodder out.
I see.
Yeah, but he completely avoids the fodder here to the point where when he's going straight for Arlong, he's going up the rocks, right, on the side.
That's because you see Zoro slice the one that tries to fight Luffy.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
And Zoro slices him and then he just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you keep going, like, and it's just like I get it. I understand. Like, even in the anime, I could potentially see that, but I know the difference between why they're doing that in the anime versus why they're doing that in the live action. Anyone that's like not a One Piece fan, they wouldn't pick up on that, but I did because it's like, okay, I haven't been seeing Luffy fight like fodder much in the live action at all. And the one time where I thought I would see him fight some fodder to like, flex his power or skills or whatever, they completely like bypassed it and just had Zoro do it. Because I mean, let's be real, it's way more cheaper and way more easier to incorporate Zoro's and Sanji's fighting because they don't use devil fruits.
That's true.
So have more of them fighting and it not cost much at all. Versus like Luffy, you can't have him fight too much without going ham on the CGI. So
Yeah.
I'm praying that because of that that disparity, I hope that Netflix grants them a bigger budget just for that.
You would think so, right? You would hope so, right? Like every new season would have a little bit bigger budget with the success that it brings.
This shit was huge already, man.
Yeah, it was.
I think they said it was like the third or fourth biggest
Netflix
TV series budget.
Yeah.
It was right behind Game of Thrones or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this one was huge. A certain amount of success, there's only so much. But I guess it could always get bigger.
It's potentially, yeah.
But on the choreography, though, I will say Sanji. I remember seeing the tweet before the live action how much he worked on his actual martial arts and stuff like that, the actor. But seeing it in the show, that was impressive. I think Sanji had my favorite fight scenes. Like his moves were so beautifully choreographed. It felt like very intentful. He was doing some cool shit. I like Sanji's fighting a lot. I had a good time watching Sanji.
One thing that since you brought that up, one thing about fight scenes in general, you could tell if it's a good fight scene or if it's a good fight, if the actor knows what they're doing in terms of martial arts, if you see less cutaways. And like there's some like action shows, right, where people are quote unquote fighting, but because the actors don't actually know how to fight, they have to do a lot of cut camera angles, if you know what I mean, to make it look more better or more realistic or whatever. But here, when we see Zoro and Sanji fight, there was barely any of that, and you just see straight up fighting because these guys actually know how to do their shit. So, and I think Jackie Chan said that too. Like, that's a marker of a person that knows how to fight is less cutaways. And you also see that in martial art films too. Like you see the stark difference between martial arts films and action and like Western action films and stuff where the person doesn't necessarily know how to fight. There's a stark difference in like how they do camera angles and stuff because they don't have to, because the person knows how to fight. So,
Right.
It's pretty cool that we got that here.
I got to give them a lot of credit for working on that, like, because it showed out. Like, it was sick to watch the fight. Any thoughts on the story, the writing, the cuts, like the decision making? What are we feeling?
How do y'all feel about the B plot with Garp? Because a lot of people either feel negatively about it or are okay with it. Like,
I think that the Garp choice was one of the better creative decisions that they made. I wasn't as mad at it as some of the other creative choices they made with the story.
Okay, I feel that. What about you, YHuss?
I think okay, I'm not gonna lie. As I was watching it, I was a bit skeptical. I was like, because to me, I thought it was a bit out of character for Garp to chase Luffy and saying the whole thing about like, oh man, pirates have to be brought to justice. I'm not gonna let him go his own way, type shit. I was like, even though he says all that in the manga, sure, but he lets him do whatever he wants. And he only really shows regret for it, at the end of Marineford. But so yeah, I thought it was weird. But then when I realized it was all a test, I actually was like, you know what? I don't hate it. And in fact, I think it was cool. I think Mr. pointed out in the first episode that they have a lot of like they're paralleling Luffy and Kobe a bit more, and I thought that was a cool way to have Kobe and Helmeppo's like beginning of their friendship and how they start training under Garp. I thought it was cool to see all that, and it was cool to see like Helmeppo warm up more to Kobe type like that. So like that happening was very dope to see. So I think it created a lot of cool moments for Kobe and Helmeppo. And I think another thing was like Garp talking to Zeph was really sick. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That was such a fire scene. And also like how talking to Mihawk, like it was like, I think it created a lot of cool stuff. And so I wasn't mad at it. And then in the end, I felt what, that was pretty fair. I didn't really I didn't hate it.
Okay.
What about yourself? Or that too.
I
feel like he hasn't spoken in a while. I thought he was doing something. Mister, you good, brother? Oh no way! I hope he hasn't been talking this whole time, Mister. We cannot hear you, bro.
Mister?
He's just chilling. That's the funny thing. I'm looking at the stream. Your mic, bro. Your mic. Nah, your mic is muted, brother. No.
See the thing.
Hello?
Like
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Damn, bro, I was talking this whole time. Shit.
No.
Yo, it's so tough.
It is what it is. All right, so you asked me what I thought of Garp, correct?
Yeah.
I actually really liked what they did with Garp. I still find it funny that Garp is Scottish and Luffy got a Spanish accent.
That shit is weird to me.
That shit's so funny. So that's why I'm curious on when we get Dragon, what accent this guy got. But to me, it kind of makes sense though, because if throughout the manga, right, you see the cover photos, Garp is visiting all the areas that Luffy was at. That's how you get Kobe and stuff like that, and then you see their training, right? So I feel like this was a great way to like showcase that, even though they did take this part of him confronting Luffy from Water 7, and they put it early on. So, and also the reveal of the fact that Garp is Luffy's grandfather, because that also was later.
That was like episode 4, and it was like
it's super early on in this. So, but I thought it was a great touch, and then the fact that he ended up testing him. And I also did like that Garp. What's it called? Called Mihawk. I like that change with Don Krieg. Mihawk was, because remember, Mihawk was chasing Don Krieg, so it was nice. You call in the Yonko, like, hey, not Yonko, wow, Warlord, and be like, yo, can you check out my grandson? Yeah, my grandson. So I really liked the Garp change, and I'm curious what they're gonna do with him later on. Now that he's like, you do your thing. Will he be more prominent in season 2, or he's just chilling? You know what I mean?
I think it probably depends on what they want to do with Kobe, because I feel like if they want Kobe to keep being a central character, which I hope they do, then maybe we might see Garp a bit more. But yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna take more of a backseat until maybe Marineford, like depending on how far they get. Obviously, I think another cool thing about Garp being there was that even though I think some of the cuts kind of hurts, I think all of them were supposed to give East Blue as a saga a lot more of direction and flow, and I think that was well done. Like I think Garp being like a bit of a almost essential antagonist this entire time was like a cool little like a chain or like a link throughout the entire episodes. You're always like, oh, is Garp going to catch up with Luffy? How's that going to go? How's the interaction going to go? So I thought it was cool to give East Blue a lot more direction and flow between arcs. So I definitely think that was a good thing. It gave a more complete feel to the arc. So I think it was good for that too, and just how it felt for the entire arc. I enjoyed Garp being there. I think, and I think it's also like another change. Like it's supposed to as it's only 8 episodes. You're supposed to catch people. You're supposed to have them feeling content. So I think that was a good ending, a good resolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To give them the end of the season.
I also did really like the Garp, like the ship scenes, right? When he starts picking up the cannonball and he chucks it at them. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna do that, and they did. And then Luffy does the balloon. Like, I really enjoyed that. And also Garp's revelation of Luffy at the end, right? When he's holding him and Luffy's just laughing and he's like, I've always been a pirate. Like, I thought that That was pretty nice.
Yeah, I also really like that scene. I really enjoyed because like the idea of what a pirate is like and being about rule breaking and being free. It was cool to see more of that come in towards the end of the season. So yeah, I think Garp was a good addition. I think some of the cuts hurt my feelings, like not having Johnny and Yosaku was sad to me, even though they're pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. But the only reason I was sad is because I really want to see that scene of them sitting in front of Arlong Park and just telling the villagers like, nah, the only people we're gonna let go through are Luffy and his crew. That shit is one of my favorite things in East Blue. So I was sad that wasn't there, but it's all good to be like that. I understand the cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want to ask y'all, what omissions did you guys wish weren't omitted from the show? Like an example, Hachi not being in it, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
That was wild.
I thought that
I'm
was
not gonna lie, Hachi did not matter to me. I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, that's fine because the other people have other opinions. Some people didn't like that he wasn't in it because when he was in it, we got to see Zoro fight someone that had 8 swords, right? I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
And then Zoro pulled out the devil. Like that would have been crazy if they did that.
Imagine that he did Austria that early. That would have been insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that hurts. The only reason that hurts because like obviously he becomes an important character in Sabaody. So
I still think he can, right? He's just not introduced until
that's why I don't think it's really that him specifically is not the one I would say because
sure, but I kind of have to fight against that because remember in Fishman Island he was telling Jinbei, he's like, yo, the shit me and Arlong did to this girl Nami, like we cannot be forgiven for it.
Yep.
And it gave more of a
you see his redemption. That's true. That's true.
Because Arlong is the people that were like terrorizing Nami, and that's why Jinbei wanted her to apologize to her for letting Arlong into the world. So I think that gave a more personal connection to Nami. So that's why I feel like Hachi was important in this arc to be in here. But sure, he could appear later and still.
And then also you also forget that. I mean, you also remember that in right before they get to Sabaody archipelago, they ran into Hachi to save him from Duval, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't want to see them was because he felt terrible about what him and Arlong did to Nami, so he coated himself in black ink to make himself seem mysterious about like his appearance or whatever. And when they finally it's revealed that it's him, they all were on Hachi's ass and they were like, Nami, you good? Like, basically like it's kind of funny. It's like, you good? We can beat his ass right now. You want like it is no problem. You want us to do it? She's like, nah, it's all good. Like, don't do it. But you can still feel her tension a little bit until she starts warming up to him and the idea that he, whatever. But that type of thing we're going to completely miss out on now. Which like YHuss also brought up is the link to Jinbei and stuff like that, and the tension and the importance of those scenes tying in together, because that's one of the things we like about One Piece, right? Like how shit ties from the past to now, and stuff comes around full circle. That's something we're kind of going to miss now, but it's possible they could tie it back. Who knows that maybe because someone said that Hachi was actually there but he wasn't fighting. So because I forgot what it was, but when you remember when they were doing the poker match or whatever. Yeah, so I forgot exactly what they said, but I think it was either with the cards or what they were saying that led to like the number 8 or something like that, and the guy's name, which is like which means 6 or something like that. One of the fishmen, their names is like a meaning for 6 or something like that, or 8 or whatever. So people speculate that that was actually Hachi. He just didn't actually fight. And they they'll just say he off screen fought, quote unquote, and bring him full circle, even if they bring in a different voice actor, or not voice actor, but a different actor altogether to play that role. Because roles change and stuff, especially if it was a very minute role, people won't even remember.
Yeah, or they can honestly take another whole, like maybe the karate guy could be the fishman in like later on that
Kurobi. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, they could work around it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of artistic freedom.
What's another one you guys that
I think Gin in I know he was there and we saw Don Krieg in Baratier, but I think his interaction where he was like he couldn't comply with fully with Don Krieg's orders. I think that was like a bit of a cool thing we missed.
Yeah.
But you know Don Krieg's a jobber, so I didn't really miss him too much.
That's right. One thing.
I missed the fight. I do think that the fight with Luffy and Don Krieg
was pretty
missed.
Cool. Yeah.
No. I think that and this goes into one of my bigger gripes with the entire story is that the parts of the source material that they did not adapt were some of the most important to the development of the characters and the emotional impact of the story. In the same breath that I said that they did the emotional peaks very well, they also missed out on some of the motivations behind some of these characters that leads to the bigger emotional impacts to other moments that they missed. For example, Luffy and Don Krieg, them not having that fight, and Sanji not watching how Luffy fights against Don Krieg with Zeph in his ear telling him about what true freedom means and what it means to pursue your dreams with no fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
That's what motivated Sanji to join them. You know what I mean? Or that's what put the bug in his back, even though it was them kicking him out. That's what put the bug in his back to join them. So I think without that fight, it definitely made Sanji's joining a lot more of a happenstance.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't disagree. Yeah, it felt like he's like, yo, you know what? I will join them. Fuck it.
Yeah, you know, like it definitely did not give the impact, as well as the farewell was whack too. But that's just
completely agree.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that the whole time. I was waiting for that the whole time because that to me is like the second Sonic turns around, he bows and
he bows. Thank you for everything.
I can see the panel in my head, the framing, them above Sonic, fucking fire, man. So yeah, I was sad to miss that. That is one of my favorite things in East Blue. So that's
definitely way better in the anime/manga than the live adaptation. I definitely agree.
I was gonna say too because Sanji didn't see Zoro's fight against Mihawk, and that was also another motivator too for inspiring Sanji to leave too.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and he's like, "Yo, why are you like why does he want to die so much?" Blah blah. He was kind of going on him. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Sanji was in fact, if you notice, they delegated that role to Nami basically. Like Sanji in the anime and manga, he was like, "Stop."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was
like, "Live, you fool! Stop like fighting for." Your ambitions don't matter if you die. Like
he said, give up your ambitions. Literally, yeah.
And which is way different, stark contrast, to what Zeph was telling Sanji, like what Callie was talking about, how Zeph was telling Callie, Sanji.
Hey, I was talking to Zeph the other day.
Yeah, exactly, bro, exactly. But how he was telling Sanji to, it is okay basically to go for your ambitions, even at the cost of your life. And Sanji always felt that was stupid, obviously, because of his backstory and stuff. And yeah, without the Don Krieg, hell, even without him seeing Mihawk, you kind of robbed that from Sanji. And I was salty about that. I was like, oh, wow, nah, not that they did not include Sanji here. But I also felt like they wanted to delegate like all the like negative thinking to Nami, even since the beginning, because her thinking with pirates and everything, and they even delegated Sanji's like ambitional, his views on ambition versus just staying alive. They delegated that to Nami, but it makes sense too because if you think about it, Nami's kind of the same, at least at the beginning, because she cared more about money and saving her village and everything than her actual dreams, to just so that she could help her village. So it makes sense why they do it, but yeah, they did rob that from Sanji though.
Yeah, so, actually, I didn't even realize that like how much like her like I'm realizing now that you say it, like her like melancholy and like low key sadness was like a lot more apparent in the live action for sure.
It definitely was.
I'm trying to think of what other omissions I might have missed. Did you have any in mind?
Damn.
Oh, Choo Choo, bro. The
Oh
dog.
yeah, Choo
Okay,
Choo.
yeah, no, absolutely. No, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
That's absolutely another one. 100%.
That is true.
That whole extra storyline added a
That would have
lot of
got these
depth.
Western niggas, man.
Yeah, no, you put a dog in there, or
Done.
Yeah, bro.
The lion, bro. Who fucking the dancing lion.
Yeah.
I will.
Buggy did mention that actually.
He did.
Buggy's like, yo, where's my lion?
Where's my lion, bro? Like shit. I will say I did like that the change though of he turned that whole town into a big circus.
I agree.
You know, like, and then chained up all the villagers, and they're there to just laugh. Like I thought that was a nice change and very menacing.
Yeah, I don't have any gripes with any of the location changes. The things that they changed visually were all the set pieces were fucking ridiculous. Absolutely.
Top tier 10 out of 10, like crazy. Like
no, absolutely.
But I will say what they did admit from the dog and stuff, the importance of those scenes, because you know they had it here in the live action where Nami, she looked outside of the circus, saw the ruins and stuff, and she went
the destruction.
and she said like basically, you know, pirates are all evil, like all of them, blah 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 blah, which is kind of the same as like the anime / manga where she was yelling at Luffy like, you know, you all pirates are the same, blah blah blah. Luffy, and Luffy is over here like, I don't care what you say, da da da. But
so real.
Facts. I love that scene so much. But the stark difference here is that because of the fact that they have Luffy and his crew take a more heroic role, a more one-to-one heroic role, there's no ambiguity at all based off of that pirate title. Versus like the manga and anime, they help the mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Luffy knocks out the mayor
to
deal with Buggy. And then when they see that their mayor's knocked out,
and they ask who did it. They ask who did it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I did.
Exactly. And they chase Luffy and his crew, but the dog is stopping them because the dog know what's up.
Yep.
And the mayor knows what's up, and he's running to them like those guys are amazing. Like and everybody else is confused. It destroys the ambiguity of what a pirate means in the One Piece world. Versus like it's more like one-to-one here in the live action.
That's fair, because Luffy just keeps saying like, I'm a different kind of pirate. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. I'm a different kind of pirate, yo.
He said that like multiple times, bro.
They stay talking about why they are there. Like, I think it's a big difference between regular One Piece. Like niggas like Luffy just does shit in regular One Piece. This one, he talks about why he does shit.
Yeah, it's a lot more left up for interpretation in the source material for sure, as opposed to everything kind of being blatantly put out. That's definitely the Western influence.
Yeah, 1,000%. So I'm not. It's all good. How do you guys feel about? Oh, go ahead. Brother.
The only other part of the story that really left me with a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth was, like I was talking about earlier, the Nami scene. I think that she, as an actress, pulled off the scene magnificently. Chef's kiss. I think that they didn't set her up properly for the scene. One of the biggest gripes, I think, in this whole story was the way that they handled Nami's betrayal of her villagers. Instead of having it so that the villagers knew the whole time, they made it so that she was the secret hero and nobody knew. You know what I mean? And I think that definitely took away from the emotional impact of the scene, because I think part of that scene was that right before that, she finds out the villagers knew the whole time and that they're about to go die for her.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing she can do about it. And I think that just adds so much depth to that scene that was taken away because of the differences that they decided to take in the live action.
I think that's a really good point.
I wasn't and me just personally, I didn't like. I liked it better when Nojiko. I like Nojiko in the live action. I liked it better when she was more of the caring big sister, just here for Nami's side, as opposed to, you know, getting duped by Nami into hating her. It was I just wasn't a fan of the dynamic. Or I'll not say I wasn't a fan. It wasn't bad. I liked the original dynamic better.
I completely agree with you.
I think both of them are fine. I think both of them are good in their own ways. Cause when Nojiko, like that scene was raw when Nojiko was seeing Nami dig up her their mother's grave, and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck you doing? You lost your damn mind!" Like, and got the shovel. Like, oh shit! I was like, I felt that scene. I was like, "Yo." Like,
and maybe I'm too attached to the source. I wasn't a fan. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I don't. I'm actually on your side, Kelly. I think the big point is that like Nami feeling like she was alone when technically, like in live action, she was more alone because she really was like doing it behind everyone's back.
Against everybody. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even though obviously she was working for them, like in the end, but like they didn't know that. And in the anime, it's more like, or in the source, it's more like we're letting you sacrifice for us, but we can't do much more about it, but we support you type shit. So I agree with you now that you pointed it out. I didn't really think about it like that. That is a big change. But I enjoyed this one too. Like I said, that moment, like that Monster, I fuck with that too. So in the moment, I don't feel bad about it, but I definitely do prefer the source material.
I do prefer. At the end of the day, I do prefer the source material because I do think that was better. But if I had to, I allowed myself to be immersed into like this version of One Piece. So, and like I said, I always view this type of One Piece as like a different, version / what if / whatever qualifiers you want to throw out there, right? But I feel like because I was allowing myself to immerse into the story and allow the changes to be different and try to view it as as kind of a One Piece fan, but at the same time not One Piece fan because I didn't want my preconceived notions to seep into the story so hard that it ruins it for me. So because I the fact that I allowed myself to immerse into this version, I could see how in real life someone like that is like, especially they don't tell you what's going on and they just like digging in y'all's parents' grave. Like, what the fuck?
No, that's true.
I don't think that, because I feel like that's to say that I haven't been allowing myself to be immersed into it. You know what I'm saying? I know you're talking about yourself. My point, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely feel like I was 100% taking the story as it's all been telling people is I've been taking the story for what it is. The problem is when moments like this arise and they take me out of that immersion that I've been trying to put myself in, that's when I have a gripe with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the story's not going to be able to 100% keep you in this place. Especially, we're all One Piece fans. Some of our like preconceived notions is going to sip in. That's inevitable. I'm just saying, like for me personally, like my preconceived notions wasn't able to seep into that particular aspect of the One Piece live action.
That's true.
Like for someone else, I could see how it can seep in and stuff like that. So that's all I was saying. That for me, I was able to not allow the immersion to break. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But it's completely different it's going to be different depending on the One Piece fan and stuff like that. So.
But yeah, overall, I really do think the cuts were purposeful and like they weren't too invasive.
Yeah.
Even as like when we're looking at it from our lens of like being manga readers or whatever. So yeah, I actually was skeptical, but I give them a lot of credit. I'm definitely gonna watch season 2. Not even just to be able to talk about it, I'm definitely gonna watch it just to see how they do it. So
yeah,
they did announce season 2, so which is hype.
Yes, sir.
And the writer strike's over too. So
yes.
Yeah.
Huge. And I think Jamie Lee Curtis is coming as Dr. Correja because the showrunner Matt Owens tweeted at her like, "Yo, you don't need we got you. You don't need a lobby for yourself. We'll talk
because I remember she put out an Instagram post saying she saw the fans and she was willing to play the character if so desired.
Yeah, because she's a fan of One Piece, which is sick.
That is really cool. I can't lie.
Speaking of like season 2 stuff, I did not know there was a post-credit scene at the end of episode 8.
Yes, there was.
Like the very last scene, I was I actually.
Are you talking about after the smoker scene or
no smoker? I'm talking about the smoker scene.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Bro, I was in this room. I was sitting right here about 10 hours ago, popping the fuck off, bro. Like I was like, no way, dude. So that really that baffled me. That was so cool. So yeah, I think Callie, you mentioned it. Like there are times where you're just looking at the screen, you're like, yo, this is so sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I had a lot of those. So that was one of them.
Geeking there, I was geeking when they showed the you know, the sail, like the mask, like finally the
Yeah,
straw hat, like that was
Yeah,
like
Luffy
that
was
was sick.
all giddy and shit. That was nice. That was
They was
definitely
hiding it
nice.
from us. I was like, "Yo, where's the scene where Usopp draws it? Where's the scene where Usopp draws it?" So yeah, I agree that like they took their time giving it to us, so it felt like it really paid off.
It was
That
a
was, that
nice,
was
it was a
that was
nice
Yeah.
ending, you know, like they
Yeah.
like, and then they going.
Uh,
What one change I forgot that I did like was that they killed off Mary, right? Because Mary didn't
Yes.
die. Mary didn't die in the anime manga, right?
Yeah,
Mihawk did
yo,
not.
I
Yeah.
was shocked.
Yeah.
Yo, can we talk about their willingness to kill off characters in
Yep.
this anime?
Minority Hunter Zoro, baby. Ugh, yo, that Mr. Sario, he was killing everybody. He's like, yo, I'm slicing these fishmen. I'm killing off their gills. Like shit, bro. Like he was killing everybody.
The live action, I think we talked about it when we talked about it when we talked about the series a little bit a few weeks ago, but the live action's willingness to get into the gritty, the darkness and the gore, the explicitness of the story that Oda is terrified to touch is definitely mad sick.
Yeah, it's cool. Like that's why I think. That's why I actually like. I really think the unique ability it will have is to be different. So that's a perfect one where people are actually getting smoked and getting killed off. I thought the one thing I will say about Mary Dime was that when they show Kaya at the end when they're looking at Luffy's water post, I was like, damn, she really has no mates anymore, or like no butlers or anything. Like she is living by herself. So yeah, he really cooked Mary. I couldn't believe it. I got spoiled for me. I heard that he died somewhere, so I wasn't too shocked.
Okay.
But like I was still like, oh god damn, he really smoked this nigga live.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
he did.
Oh, by the way, Kuro was amazing.
Kuro was sick.
Yo, yeah.
Let's talk about the villains real quick, like
Yeah.
I thought they were through and through there. I thought they were pretty spot on.
I agree. I thought
We
they were
talked
all
about all a little bit, but Kuro was definitely really good. Mihawk was exceptional as well.
Yeah, I actually brought this out. This Mihawk baby, yeah, Mihawk was awesome.
Jeez, that was weird as hell, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah,
the way you said that shit was niggas off guard, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mihawk was sick, and I think Buggy stole the show him out. I think that's what you were gonna say.
Easily.
Yeah, Buggy was ridiculous.
Was freaking phenomenal.
And I like that he was present throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
it was different, and to have Arlong pull up on Buggy, I was like, "Oh, this is different."
I like that.
That is the cool kind of cut that I'm talking about. One that gives flow to East Blue. That was a perfect example.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking sick.
If you think about it, East Blue was a lot of it is just its own thing. A lot of islands visit. There was barely any continuity, but they made it flow very well in the live action. Like, you know, you have Arlong, and it makes sense too. Arlong was the top dog in East Blue before Luffy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have Arlong pull up on Buggy like, "Yo, clown, what the fuck?" Like,
putting him in his place. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And I like that the Grand Line map was like a big deciding factor for that. That everyone wanted that shit, and there was only one of them in the East Blue. Like that was so cool. That gave a lot more flow to it as well.
Yeah, seriously, like I loved overall and now that we're talking about it, I kind of see why they did the Garp thing, like how they did, because technically Garp was in the East Blue stuff in the manga and anime, right? But he was like in the distance training and Helmeppo, and that's all we ever saw, and that was it.
If you saw, he was going to each location Luffy was at. You know, before that, so that's why I like that how they did that, because they kind of incorporated that. Like, you know, he heard a Straw Hat kids coming out. He's like, oh, that's definitely Luffy. I gotta see. I gotta find out for sure. You know.
Yeah, but I will say though that Axe Morgan, I do kind of feel like they kind of like unjustifiably took him out of the series. Like, that makes sense, because in the anime and manga, he was like terrible to the citizens.
He was a menace for real.
Yeah, he was.
His own soldiers and everything like that. Now, I guess one could argue that, you know, the spirit of Axe Morgan was through Helmeppo, because obviously if Helmeppo's doing bullshit and Axe Morgan is not like directly stopping him from doing his bullshit, that you could just argue like, okay, yeah, no, it's the same, because it's being enforced through someone else, blah, blah, blah. He's being complacent with it. And so that's why I understand why Garp was like, it starts with the leaderships, and that's why he took Axe Morgan out, basically, and I get that. But I can't say I feel the same animosity towards him here as I did in the anime and manga, because this dude was crazy. And I think it was even worse in the manga, because in the manga
he killed one of his
He
dudes.
murked one of his soldiers,
He
bro.
directly killed him.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they didn't do that here in the live action, especially their willingness to kill off people. I think that it could have been crazy to see Axe Morgan just kill a Marine, and that would have showed the audience that Marines aren't always good guys or anything like that, and it would have brought it home to the audience more, especially to non-One Piece fans. But the fact that that didn't happen, I was like, I don't know about this. Like,
I feel that. I feel that. Another a standout for me, I know for YHuss, was Helmeppo.
Yes, sir.
Like all those extra scenes with Kobe and Garp definitely helped develop Helmeppo more, and we got to see that more. And I ended up liking Helmeppo at the end of it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
I think that also it was cool to see him get punked off early on, like that. Like, oh, Kobe's the one that's really impressive.
Yeah,
he knows how to tie on. He was already a sailor, stuff like that. Like he has a great character to begin with, and then Helmeppo having to give his ego a backseat, and in the end, him and Kobe were boys. That was so cool. And then episode 4, Garp versus on the sea versus Luffy, when the ship gets destroyed and Kobe saves Helmeppo's life. He grabs him when the mast is coming down. There, it was so cool, especially knowing what we know and seeing what we've seen lately of those characters in the manga. Getting to see a little bit of how that builds. I'm never gonna complain about that. So Helmeppo actor did a great job and everything. So what were you gonna say, brother?
Because we didn't get that, right? We didn't get to see his change in the source. So that was definitely nice.
That was dope. I think also Zeph was the character in Baratie. I loved it. He was fucking dope.
Yeah.
Just that they did the backstory super well, especially for that one, bro. They did the whole because the anime Zeph doesn't eat his leg in the anime. It's only in the manga, and
it gets cut off. Yeah,
it gets cut off trying to save Sanji. But in the manga, he actually eats his leg, and I'm glad that they went with that in the live action.
Yeah. The emotion in that scene was really, really. I thought Zoro, by the way, was I think he was my favorite kid actor. His emotion versus Kuina, I really thought it was Sanji was also up there, but yeah, I like Zoro versus Kuina a lot. Luffy, I was kind of about.
Bro, you know what? One of my gripes is the fact that Luffy's kid actor got no accent, and then here comes Iñaki as adult Luffy with an accent, bro.
Yeah.
And now as a rewatch, I can't unhear it. I'm like, yo, this kid's speaking perfect English, bro. He's from New York, bro. I'm just like,
yeah. I do think they kind of botched that casting a little bit with the kid actor versus grown actor, especially, and not even just with the asset, but the personalities were also starkly different. Luffy was more angry as a kid.
He was. Yeah,
he was not smiling as much. He was not enjoying himself. He just felt more
he was. I feel like he was like that in the source.
Was he more angry?
The few times we saw him, he was pretty angry. He was always angry at Shanks for leaving him. He was angry at the bandits. He was angry at Garp.
He was angry at Shanks, being punked by the bandit too.
No, he was a pretty feisty kid.
But I thought I saw Luffy laugh sometimes with the Shanks shenanigans stuff. I mean, obviously not the points where they were making fun of him, because he was just like, "What the fuck? Stop making fun of me." But I saw him have some fun. But it felt like I don't know.
Low key, bro. Thinking back on it, I don't think that nigga smiled very often at all during that first arc. Now that I think about it,
I have one picture of it. I think it's literally when Makino gives him food. I think that's the only time I can think of him smiling. When he's ready to eat. That's the only time. At one panel is the only time I can think of it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's my later context that is blending in with what I remember, because I do remember the stuff with Uta,
Uta,
Uta, and the stuff with Ace and them when they were all that is kind of blending into my impressions of Luffy even as a kid. But yeah, you're right. In the very, very first stuff, yeah, I guess he wasn't like laughing and enjoying himself as much, or maybe he was, but we just didn't see it. But like, it still feels different. Like, they playing beak sake in
That was fire, by
I
the way.
in
loved
the
it.
caverns and stuff like that. Yeah, and the tone is just dramatically different for like Kid Luffy in the live adaptation versus like Luffy in the manga, or actually I would say anime, because the anime will help the context of the manga in terms of feel. So because of that, I'm feeling like Luffy's just different. He just feels different. I don't know if that might be just me, but he just feels different in terms of like how he wants to express himself versus like as he got older. But I could be, yeah, it could be just me though.
No, that's fair. I think it's
that is fair. Any other standouts? I can't really I feel like we talked about the characters, the cast, the writing,
Kobe,
story.
Yeah.
Yo, Kobe is like Kobe is great here. Don't get me wrong. I like the direction they did with Kobe, but I also feel like Kobe. I do wish that they had Kobe stand up to Alvida at the beginning,
Yeah.
like they did in the anime slash
that's
manga.
definitely another one of those things from the source that
That
I
was
missed.
cut off. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I actually don't think that the payoff of his time in with Garp early on, I think that I valued those moments more versus Alvida, and also in Shellstown, there he has two big moments that I think get cut out. So yeah, I think I also, but the thing is, I think Kobe as an actor though was perfect. Like, he played Kobe to a T. I think it was dope.
One of the things about the cast that I love so much was the physical likeness to the characters in the manga. Like, it's hard to obviously put a character to a live action to a real human, but a lot of these characters, like, they look like they were pulled straight out of the manga and plopped into reality.
Yeah, the casting could not have been better for a lot of characters. I completely agree.
And the costume too, because someone with green hair, you look goofy, but McKinney pulled it off. Like, all the different, no, Callie's right about that.
That's a fact, actually. I was in the Arlong episodes, I was looking at Nami's hair because it occurred to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a wig.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, it kind of doesn't look like it in a lot of the tests. So yeah, the production was just purely fire. Like, they killed it.
They did, man. Oda made sure. He's like, no, you're not releasing this until it's perfect.
I wonder what they changed, man. I wonder what made him say like, "Nah, this needs more time in the oven." But it worked out because I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. So,
you know what it was? It was coming to terms with the fact that they're willing to kill off people. He was like, hold on. Hold on, wait. Okay, damn.
Not in my story.
Pell better watch out for season 2, boy.
So real quick, since we're probably gonna wrap up in a little, where do you guys see season 2 going?
Well,
I think in an 8 episode span, if we do the same as this season, I could see my timeline. What I see is the first episode is Lowtown.
Yeah.
The second episode is Reverse Mountain /
Whiskey Peak or Laboon?
No, not Laboon.
Laboon, yeah.
Reverse Mountain / Laboon, and then the third episode would be Whiskey Peak.
Going into Drum Island, right?
Well, yeah, I think maybe you could do Whiskey
Next
Peak.
is Little Garden, though, no?
No, that's what I meant. Little Garden. I meant Whiskey Peak / Little Garden. That's what I meant. I think you could do both of those in 1 hour long episode.
I think Reverse Mountain and Laboon, by the way, could definitely be half of the episode before and the next one. You know what I mean? Like, it could be
Lowtown into Reverse
1,
Mountain,
and it ends with them being Laboon, and then episode 2 is Laboon, and then Whiskey Peak. I can see something like that.
That's also fair.
I feel like Reverse Mountain Laboon is like not that long.
I feel like they've stuck. They haven't really blended arcs into episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But like, also, like, Alabasta is long as fuck.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But like, even All Along Park got 2 episodes.
Yes,
granted, it was 2.5. So I could definitely see. I could see Alabasta getting the last 3 episodes, maybe even 4.
Maybe even 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
Honestly, I'm seeing 4. I'm seeing it, unless they increase the episode count
to 10. I wouldn't mind. That would be nice if it was 10.
Well, so if they do that, I think one of the arcs get cut from one of the pre-Alabasta arcs get cut.
Wait,
They need Drum Island for sure.
You need Drum
Wait,
Island.
wait. Why would it get cut if they increase the episode count? Unless you mean it gets cut if they have Alabasta being 4 episodes.
If they have Alabasta being 4 episodes, I don't think you're gonna fit all of the pre-Alabasta content in the 4 episodes prior.
But that's why they would increase it, right? Like,
yeah, but that's the problem. He wasn't responding to you saying, "What if it's 10?" He wasn't responding to that. He was responding to That was confusing. But
okay.
Yeah, I think like that's the thing. Something will get cut, and I think the one that makes the most sense, maybe
probably Little Garden.
I think Little Garden.
I think Little Garden for the practicality of it. I don't think they're gonna be able to do the whole giant thing.
They might. Oh, that is. I didn't even think.
Honestly, I think Whiskey Peak gets cut.
I think Whiskey Peak makes more sense story wise. It'd be a lot easier to work the important stuff from Whiskey Peak into a different part of the story. I think practically it'd be harder to bring Little Garden to live action.
That's true. Like
So
the dinosaurs and
one of the other. Yeah, I can definitely see one of the other being cut.
That's an amazing point. Yeah,
especially
the reason why I can personally see Whiskey Peak getting cut is because they already established the prerequisite for Baroque Works with episode 1 for Zoro. Yeah, so because of that, I feel like they could just do a combination episode and basically do it where all the stuff from Whiskey Peak, because honestly, Whiskey Peak, outside of the people there, you can kind of do away with it and just put Whiskey Peak within Little Garden. You know what I mean? And still have that incorporated into like Vivi and Robin and then Brogy and what's his name? Into all into one jam-packed episode.
They honestly, like, also to that point is that in Whiskey Peak, those niggas come back, right? Like I don't even remember the numbers anymore.
Yeah.
They come back in Little Garden.
Yeah.
So they could come back, but yeah, I really think Callie has a great point about the giants and like the CGI, the dinosaurs and all that shit.
Especially if you're gonna do Laboon before, because that's another big CGI like before that. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
Who knows?
But also, they do get the Eternal Post to Alabasta from Little Garden, so I wonder where that's going to come. I'm sure there'll be a lot of ways to make that happen. Maybe in Whiskey Peak or whatever they decide to cut. But yeah, I think we all agree with seeing it. If it's 8 or so episodes ending at the end of Alabasta, I'm sure. I think that's without a doubt. But yeah, I think Callie, that's like so if something gets cut, it's Little Garden or Whiskey Peak, one of the other.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see it. Regardless, I'm definitely looking forward to season 2 for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man. I gotta see my Queen Robin.
Yes. Oh my god.
And Oda did officially.
I man agreed with that shit. That was dope,
bro.
And then Oda did officially say that Chopper will be in season 2. So
yeah,
he did. Interested to see how they. And I've seen a lot of skepticality. Skepticality a word?
I'm gonna search it up for you, big dog.
Skepticality. I'm gonna pretend it's a word. Skepticism.
It's definitely skepticism.
Yeah, skepticism. Yeah, no, I know I was tripping. But I've seen a lot of skepticism about Chopper and CGI. But I think CGI in general, not just in the One Piece live action, CGI in general has come a long way. Where we've seen animated animals, furry creatures come to life in a live action setting and look great.
Yeah.
In the new Sonic movie, Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
There was another one that I just can't think of off the top of my head. I literally thought of these examples right before this episode because I was gonna bring this up. I'm so fucking mad. There's another one, but I can't think of it. But yeah, I think that it's definitely doable.
Yeah. Ooh, another good example of that was actually the new Chip and Dale movie. Because I don't know if you guys ever watched the old Chip and Dale movies with the shows.
I have not.
The little chipmunks that the Rescue Rangers.
I've seen these niggas. Yeah.
Showing your age, brother, man.
I know. But they actually on Disney they actually had do a sequel movie, and it's them like in present day. Like they were actors, you know what I mean? But they're still CGI, and there's live people, and actually was pretty funny and pretty good.
Do you consider Alvin and the Chipmunks a good CGI?
It wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, that was a while ago too.
That was a while ago, and it wasn't bad. So yeah, no, I definitely think that they can do Chopper justice. I think that people shouldn't have a reason to be skeptical.
I'm excited.
To be honest, no, I'm definitely excited, 100%.
I think we're just afraid because I mean, you did mention Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's beautiful now, but
there was,
you remember
there was Ugly Sonic.
The OG. See, if anything, that's a testament to how much better this should be. Because if anything, I'm pretty sure 99% of producers learned from that mistake, because that was one of the craziest turnarounds I have ever seen in
cinema history. Yeah,
bro.
for real, bro.
Yeah, no, that was fucking crazy, bro. That was literally like a big "here's what you don't do" sign to every single studio. You know what I'm saying?
So, fun fact that since you brought up the Ugly Sonic, he was actually in the Chip and Dale movie, and they made fun of they made fun about that. They were like, so
I remember seeing that clip on Twitter. That's the movie you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
bro.
I remember seeing that clip on Twitter.
If you get a chance, that movie is hilarious, bro. Like that shit was so good. But I think they will do Chopper justice. We're gonna get Jamie Lee Curtis as Dr. Coreja. Like, let's make it happen, bro. And and then I made a tweet yesterday because I would like the kid from Cobra Kai. He's also Blue Beetle, Zolo Maridueña, to be Ace. I think it'd be awesome, Ace.
Yeah, without knowing him, I saw your tweet and I looked at the difference. I was like, "Yo, this is perfect. I could really be Ace. It's perfect."
Yeah,
that's I didn't even take it in. We would see Ace.
We would see Ace.
I would fucking love to see him in live action.
That's you're right. That is sick.
It's my actual goat. So yeah, that would be fucking fire.
Definitely looking forward to season 2.
I can't wait. Before we finish, there was a couple of things that I wanted to highlight.
Let's hear it.
One, the effects, because there's one effect in particular that I absolutely loved in the live action versus any other medium for manga and anime alike, and that was the bounty introduction.
Yes, I love that. I love that shit. That shit was good.
That shit was absolutely fire. I don't care what no one says, is better than the anime and even the manga. Like the fact that the wanted poster is just right there on fire, and then they interact with it and slash it, and you're like, oh, that thing is godlike.
Arlong when he came and he like used his nose to like rip it up and shit like that. Like that. Yeah, no, that shit was sick.
Yeah, like bruh, like godlike with the music playing in the background to hype it up. Like, oh, I like, you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Street Fighter 6. Here comes a new challenger.
Yeah.
It's just a godlike introduction to hype up the person. Like, I hope they keep that up. Like, if they started doing some shit like that, even remotely in the anime, I would lose my fucking marbles. Like, oh my god.
No, that was a nice touch.
Like, I'd be getting hyped. Like, yeah, you see that guy? Like, that's that dude. Like,
another thing I did before we like you said before we go. I like the subtle use of Shanks's hockey that they showed, and when he warded off the what was it? The Sea King, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a nice touch.
The zoom in on his eyes is really what's going like. Well, tell us clear what's going on.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. And then like when the it reminded me of the scene in when Luffy does it in Saboti, the bull like it goes from really angry to really calm and chill. That when they zoom in on the Sea King's eye and it's really like it's a slit and it's really he's about to kill this nigga like and it blinks and then it's like the eye is way more relaxed. I thought that was I think they did that really well. The one thing I'm glad you held something on because I just remembered I want to talk about this was the Easter eggs were amazing. Like just perfect. Like the way they bring up like to me, I think I don't know why it really caught me off guard, but it really was cool because it made it feel way more like a actual children's story and book was when Zoro was KO'd and Nami was reading Mont Blanc.
Yes,
that was sick. That was a really.
I was like, I was so taken aback. But then, like I said, it's supposed to be a children's book. It's supposed to be a very famous story, so it makes perfect sense that like we're hearing about it early on in that kind of scene. I thought that was really cool, and like stuff like just hinting at the Shanks. I feel like the Shanks Mihawk scene was done really, really well.
Yes. The ending. Oh, bro, when
Yeah,
they got hyped up with Luffy's bounty poster, that was sick, bro.
That shit was hype. So yeah, and I feel like they did a good job hinting at like like this relationship is like we could throw hands right now, right? So that was sick. And Shanks is like, yo, I could fight you if I wanted to, bro.
He said, I could tie my hand behind my back.
That was funny. I actually like I started laughing when he said that shit. I was like, fuck, why did I laugh at that stupid shit? Yeah, that was funny.
Bro, I love that scene so much. And it's funny because the Shanks versus Mihawk argument, everyone uses that scene to like talk about how like Shanks is not afraid of Mihawk, but Mihawk's afraid of Shanks, blah blah blah. But it was so cool to see it in a joking manner, and Shanks was like, "What? Nah, I can still take you."
Yeah.
One hand tied behind my back. I was like, I kind of felt like the showrunners like did that intentionally because they know about that like argument or whatever, and it felt like a nod to like One Piece fans, low key.
Just like
yeah.
Minority Hunter Zoro, first scene, bro.
Bro,
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I was like, jeez. Oh, but actually, since you brought up Shanks, I was wondering, how do y'all feel about Shanks' performance? The guy that acted for Shanks, because I heard people say that they wasn't feeling it.
I liked him. I thought he was good.
They said
I had
that
no qualms.
not as charismatic as the anime/manga. Like he's a little bit more dry.
I thought he did a good job of that. Actually,
I had no qualms. Yeah,
I never thought like in charisma. I thought he was fine, like as fine as could be in terms of like being realistic and not being too corny. I thought he did a good job. He felt like, I think the one thing I really liked about him was how much he was playing off his crew. It felt like he could make them laugh on a dime. They really they focused him heavily. I thought he did a great job of that. But for some reason, I also wasn't. I was watching it, especially in the second, like the last scene. I was like, I kind of wasn't like blown off my feet by what he did. You know what I mean? I thought it was cool. So yeah, I am pretty in the middle about him. But I don't think he did a bad job of being charismatic. I definitely disagree with that. Yeah, but yeah, I don't feel one way or the other. What did you think? Oh, sorry.
I like Shanks. It's not so. I think the thing is that he could definitely come off more charming in the sense because it would be more blatant in like an anime/manga setting because they get to be a little bit more over exaggerated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, the people that say he wasn't charismatic kind of forget what a charismatic person in real life would look like. You know what I mean? So in real life, they're not going to be as over the top. They're going to be a little bit more, more chill, more smooth, more reasonable, more sounding, more like, what I mean, like a lot more in the middle about things. And in the anime or in an animated work in general, when you're like that, you're going to come off as less charismatic and less energy, and people are going to say like, he's not really anything. Versus in real life, that stuff, people gravitate towards people like that naturally who are more chill, more whatever in real life. You know what I mean? And I was just gonna say, yeah, and there's some aspects of charismatic crossover that I still do see within the anime/manga to the live action, in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's just me. I think Shanks did a great job in my opinion. Oh, and his crew, because
Lucky Roo.
Lucky Roo.
No questions asked.
Usopp. Well, my only gripe was Ben Beckman. I feel like the casting was the weak one out of all of them, but everyone else was sick. Lucky Roo, Usopp. I still can't get over when he ricocheted that shot to get the dude. I was just like, bro.
Oh, that was cool. That was
cool. That was definitely hype. Yeah.
And that was the first thing you see Usopp doing, right? With the slingshot. He's ricocheting off the pans into the so that was pretty cool. Nah, man, I really enjoyed the live action a lot. Before we close, what would you guys give a rating, if you would? Let's say out of 10.
Season 1 altogether,
Yeah.
for me, give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I think I definitely would agree.
Kelly?
Yeah, that's an 8 out of 10. That's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to say 8, but I kind of want to say 7.5.
I was 8 was my upper range. I think
I'll
7.
say I'll say 8 because I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it a lot. 8 out of 10 to me is like this is really good.
It's good. A very good piece of work.
Yeah, this is a really good piece of work. Because to me, 7 or higher is good. 7 is like, okay, this is cool. I'm interested. 8 is like, okay, this is really good. And then like 9 or 10s is like great to like fucking perfect or something like that.
I give it an 8.5. I'll give it
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah,
I was thinking like it really like one thing I think we had to say about it, and it will be said about it, you know, whenever people talk about it, is that it's the one that every live action before this people were hating on. It was trash. It was done terribly. No one had the formula, and they crushed it. You know, like, and I think that's actually a very commendable thing to be that person that's like, yo, why is this going so wrong? Like, let's take something, let's do it the right way. Yeah, I think that's a commendable thing, and they like hit it out of the park when it comes to that. So I really got to give them their flowers for that.
Seriously, and every other studio from this point forward, if y'all are like adapting any anime, y'all have no excuses to not make that shit good. Because if One Piece can put this much effort into it to make it passable, every other anime that is nowhere near on the same like zaniness as One Piece, y'all just have no excuse now. Like
you know, the fact that the more realistic animes couldn't pull this off compared to the more whimsical One Piece is actually a testament to how great this adaptation is. 100%.
It's really impressive.
Seriously.
Like, definitely hats off to the cast and crew and the production, all that good stuff. They definitely hit it out the park.
Yeah.
No matter how we may personally feel about it, they definitely accomplished the goal.
Yeah, they did, and you felt the heart. You know, you felt the passion in it. That's why when IGN gave their review when it first came out, saying that it had no heart and it was too close to the source material, I'm like, man, IGN is so trash. Like now,
IGN
smoking crack cocaine,
bro. Like that was crazy.
A problem that is too close to the source material. Wasn't that the complaint of like every other anime adaptation? Was
that they deviate from it? Yeah, it's like shut up.
That they deviate from it so hard that the soul isn't there, or like the heart of the original adaptation of the original source material isn't even in it anymore. Like, but now it's too on point. Like, what type of what?
What are we doing here, man?
But you know, I know Oda's very happy. He had the crew and the live cast and the voice actors over for dinner like 2 weeks ago, apparently, because both Zoros were being interviewed and they were talking about it. So
that's cool, man.
You know, like seeing how involved Oda is, like it's awesome to see. You know,
that's my guiding light. Like I would never have fucked it without Oda being here, so I'm not surprised he's having a big part of it. And that's gonna keep me tapped in.
Oh God, and Oda we trust.
And Oda we trust, baby. And with that, seriously. I think. Go ahead, Mod.
One other thing. Did anyone get a chance to watch it in subs?
I started to.
Lisa definitely did. Yeah.
I started to. I didn't get to finish it yet, but it's pretty dope seeing them. Hearing the Japanese voice actors. It actually, it's different. It's definitely different. Definitely worth checking out.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
It's a different feel because you hear the voice actors and like it's them. You know what I mean? Like so.
Right.
Like. I just watched the first 2 episodes and I liked it so far. I think maybe a little bit more, but you know, I'll definitely let you know when I finish watching it subbed.
Okay, cool. All right, that's it though.
Word. All right, and I think with that, you guys, we good? That's it for today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, yo. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Drop us up. Help us get to 200, man. Our last video got over 400 views, which is awesome. Thank you. And you know, we just gotta keep grinding, bro, and giving out more One Piece. I think we have a chapter next week.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
And will we be back on Cali stream next week? Question mark.
We should be. Yeah.
Should be. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Awesome. So,
yo, real quick, big shout outs to the boy Mr. G for holding it down with the host. And it was nice to just sit back for once and just Let him have to handle the whole streaming day thing. I can't lie.
Hey, we could always
cooking my shit.
we could always alternate, Callie. That's not an issue.
For sure. No, I do appreciate you, though, brother.
Of course. I mean, we're a family, and this is what we do.
Yes, sir.
So, and we are 19 episodes away from 100. So
Sheesh.
we're almost there. But thank y'all for being here, yo. And with that, peace.
Peace.
Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Strawhat sit down crew in the building. We Corona to these other podcasts. We gon' put these people in their feelings when they hear this and they know that they can't top this. We spit facts and we poppin' every time an episode is dropping. We see D3 in the corner, Mister, that's a real G with the green screen in the background. Got him looking like he in a real scene. We got Big Mod in the cut. Always ready with rebuttals, but he bring the knowledge when we in the huddle, so you know the crew is never gonna fumble. And it's YHuss, last but not least. If you ask me, then Cali, mad the captain, make him rally around me. Every Sunday we gon' run deep, and we can't stop until we find out about that one piece. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece?